Pick a number 1 to 5. The winning number today is 1. Homework check. If you have all your work shown, then bring it up here and show me your homework. We have 22 here today, 20 have homework, so that's going to be a percentage of 91. Not bad. Here are the answers. Check what you have. Put a check mark beside the ones that are right. When you're finished, you're going to put the number you had right at the top of the page, not the number you missed. We'll go through work and stuff like that after we read through all 10 answers. 1 is 4 minus 2i, and you must have it in that form, with the 4 first and then minus 2i. 2 is 15 minus 6i. 3 is 17 minus 17i. 4 is 5 plus 5i. 5 is negative 2i. 6 is negative 2 plus 6i. 7 is 6 minus 6i. 8 is negative 4 plus I. 9 is negative 9 plus 6i. And 10 is 20 plus 5i. Today's objectives: know there is a complex number I such that I squared equals negative 1, and every complex number has the form a plus bi, with a and b real numbers. Today's knowledge targets: define I as square root of negative 1, or I squared as negative 1. Define complex numbers, and write complex numbers in the form a plus bi, with a and b being real numbers. So we're mainly focusing on this one. So when you multiply them out, you have to make sure they're in the right form at the end. Here's example 1. The exponents are going to be up a little bit on this one. We had some i's and I squares yesterday, so now we're going to throw in some thirds, fourths, fifths, and so forth. On this one, it's still the same process as yesterday. You multiply through by I squared. So I squared times I to the third is I to the fifth. And I squared times a minus I squared is minus I to the fourth. You add the exponents. From there, it's a matter of simplifying. So I to the fifth. We know that I to the fourth is a 1, so I to the fifth is what? Not negative 1, just I. Yeah. I to the fifth is the same as I. And minus I to the fourth. I to the fourth is a 1. So we end up with minus 1. And remember, this is from I to the fourth. This minus sign was already there. It's not that we made I to the fourth a negative 1. This minus sign was already in place. So that is simply a 1. Now, I minus 1 is not the form you should have. It should be minus 1 plus I. The imaginary number comes second. So whenever they're switched around like this, you're going to have to just move them back. This and the sign in front of it goes there, and then this and the sign in front of it goes here. They just switch places. Example 2, negative I to the fourth times the quantity 2i to the third plus I to the fifth. You're going to multiply this by this to start with. So negative I to the fourth times 2i to the third is a negative 2i to the seventh. And then multiply this term by the right one in the quantity. You'll have a minus I to the ninth. So from there, it's a matter of simplifying. I to the seventh. We know that I to the fourth is 1, and we know that I to the sixth is going to be a negative 1. So what's I to the seventh? negative I. Now, don't make this mistake. You still have negative 2 here, and we've just simplified I to the 7th to be a negative I. So don't lose any signs in the process. And then we'll go back here to I to the 9th. I to the 8th is 1, so what's I to the 9th? Just an I. And don't forget that this minus sign was already here. This I to the 9th is not negative I. This minus sign was already there. So now simplify. If I multiply these two together, they're double negatives. I end up with 2I minus I. 2I minus I is what? I. That's it. This times this is going to give you a negative 8I to the 5th. And then when you multiply these two items, you come up with a positive 4I to the 6th. Now, I to the 5th is a positive I. And then you'll have plus 4 times I to the 6th. I to the 6th is a negative 1. So now simplify. Negative 8I minus 4. But you have to flip it around. It's got to be in this form. So your answer is negative 4 minus 8I. The answer to the bonus should have been 2. Start with negative I times negative I to the 6th. And that'll come out to be positive I to the 7th. And then this times this is going to be plus 2I to the 4th. Now, I to the 7th, remember that I to the 6th is a negative 1. So I to the 7th is what? Negative I. And we know that I to the 4th is 1. So we're just going to end up with negative I plus 2, but we have to switch it around. It's got to be 2 minus I. This one is 1. The first 7 people. The answer to this one should be 1. Remember that I to the 6th is negative 1, but you have a negative sign out in front of it. The first 7 people. Remember that I to the 4th is 1, but you have a negative sign out in front of it, so it's a negative 1. To the first 7, you have a negative 3 multiplied against I to the 3rd, which is negative I. So a double negative is positive 3I. Alright, here's example 3. 3I squared times 2I is 6I to the 3rd. And then we'll multiply the rest out to get minus 12I to the 8th. And then go back to here and do negative I to the 3rd times 2I, which is minus 2I to the 4th. And then from here to here we have plus 4I to the 9th. So now when we simplify, this will give us a negative 6I, because I to the 3rd is negative I. And then I to the 8th is 1, so we have minus 12. I to the 4th is 1, so it's minus 2. and I to the ninth is I. So it's 4I. Now we'll simplify, and we have minus 6I plus 4I, which is a negative 2I. And then here with the constants we have negative 14. So it's negative 14 minus 2I. Okay, so we're going to start here. 3I squared times 5I to the third. What does that give me? 15I to the fifth. And then 3I squared times minus 3I to the fourth. What is that? Not negative 6. Negative 9I to the sixth, yeah. Easy mistake to make. Alright, now this one, negative 3I times 5I to the third. Negative 15I to the fourth. And then negative 3I times negative 3I to the fourth. Plus 9I to the fifth. Alright. What does I to the fifth give me? I. So we just have 15I. What is I to the sixth? So what happens with that term? Yeah, it becomes plus 9. If I to the sixth is negative 1, it cancels out the other negative with the 9 and becomes plus 9. I to the fourth is 1, so we're just left with minus 15. And again, we have another I to the fifth. So it's just plus 9I. Now we go back and simplify. We have 15I and 9I. That's going to be 24I. And then 9 minus 15 is going to give us a what? Negative 6. So if this is a positive 24I, don't forget we have a plus sign in front of it. Negative 6 plus 24I. For this one, multiply here and here to get a negative 6I to the fourth. And then here to here, we're going to have a negative 2I to the sixth. Now here to here is minus 12I to the seventh. And from here to there is minus 4I to the ninth. Alright, this is a 1, so we're left with negative 6. That's a negative 1, so we get a plus 2. This is a negative I, so the double negative makes it plus 12I. And this is I, so it's minus 4I. We have negative 6 plus 2, which is negative 4, and 12I minus 4I is 8I. Negative 4 plus 8I. For the bonus problem, you're going to have a negative 2 minus a negative 3 in here. Square all that, and then you'll have x squared, which is this. That means it's a 4. 4 times a negative 3, and then plus a negative 3 at the end. So inside of here you get a 1. 1 squared is 1. And this is a negative 12, so we have minus 12. And then minus 3. That comes out to be a negative 14. The answer for this one should be negative 17. We're running out of time, so I got to go back and do the practice.